Hello and welcome back. Today we are continuing our Crusader Kings 3 run in Princes of Darkness mod, which adds all manner of Gothic beasties. We are playing as Ares, who formerly peaked in high school, but now we're peaking pretty hard now. And what we will be doing today is we will be continuing to vie for restoring Mesopotamia. Last episode we stole the Holy Grail, and also, you can see, which we didn't do it because it was useful for anything, because true faith is not a lifestyle that we can even adhere to, but we equipped it. It's about sending a message, it's about drinking from the cup. And also last episode, we started to move towards Mesopotamia, and we managed to get ourselves Dear Gilgamesh, because I felt that that was really on theme for adventuring on in Mesopotamia. Now, what we're waiting for is to get our cooldown back for being able to declare a holy war, because truly this will be kind of the last not the last great war, but it will be the great war to restore the faith of sin, because we are the demon of wrath. There's a demon for each of the 7 sins, and we are looking to restore kind of the birthplace of civilization here in a more, demonic sort of way. And so that's what we'll be kind of doing today. We'll be progressing towards that. I'm not sure if we will get there exactly. I think we'll also be cleaning up the borders here, and then we're also going to be focused on trying to create sorts of opportunities for our subjects to expand. In particular, we have stuff like having Hannibal Barca here in North Africa, giving him a whole bunch of subjects, chipping away at Tahert, so that he might be able to expand into it on his own. Also, probably going to do a similar thing over here with Lucita de Aragon, who is a very, very nice stat line here. I think we have another king over here or queen rather, in Artemis. We might rework our kind of cadre, or whatever it's called, to incorporate more of these Greek people. In particular, also Lord Bizar, who is Byzantium's architect in terms of the World of Darkness lore, which there's a ton of lore for the game if you've been watching along, or if you're new, there are these huge journal entries for tons of these historical characters. But without further ado, let's get into it. So we just managed to convert the soul of this man to wrath. It is Asad al-Dalwa. Not really sure on the pronunciation, but he in particular has one of the highest stewardships in the entire game right now. And when we recognize him as our cultist, it should go up by 5, or we might have to give him land. Okay. We might have to give him land, but there it is. It goes up by 5 because of the infernal pacts we have, and now he's up to a whopping 28. Now, he is just kind of chilling in our kind of territory right now, and he also has Administrator Renowned Physician. We're going to see if maybe we can find him a good job in as a courtier of ours, but if not, we're probably going to give him some sizable chunk of land, because that's a juicy stewardship right there. After winning a quick war, we are going to usurp the title of Kingdom of Thessalonica, and we will give it to Bizar, the vampire who was responsible for the building and the cultivating of the great city of Byzantium. Although we'll keep the city of Byzantium, we will grant him the title of the Kingdom of Thessalonica. We won't give him any of the lower titles. We want to kind of maintain those ourselves, but we will give him all the subjects within, and which will include guys like this, who we just kind of picked up just now, but this will give him a nice, big, strong power base, and he's already a very strong and powerful vampire anyways. It will give him a nice power base with which to maybe fight Bulgaria up here in the north. So we get a nice little kind of pickup here with the urn. It is giving a slight amount of prestige and short reign duration, except we're immortal, so this isn't that useful, but we'll just say it's lovely. This guy's already fulfilled his kind of duty, but he's actually an excellent court poet. So I think we're going to just keep him around, kicking around the court as a poet instead of giving him some land. We have a bunch of characters pinned off to the right, and a lot of these we are having more and more people who are very, very able, and so when we pick up land, we will be able to just grant them some land, but we're kind of of taking things a little bit slow, trying to clean up the borders, and also, you know, the fact that we give a whole bunch of subjects over to Bizarre here, for example, we're not as concerned with this not being the most optimal guy to be in charge, because that's not our problem, that's Bizarre's problem. But we're still looking to have capable people in charge of the various kingdoms that we are setting up in our grand empire. You can see that our empire title kind of just stretches over in the middle of the Mediterranean. Carthage, we resisted doing that, but we will be doing the Empire of Babylon with the decision. This is kind of the idea here, which is restore Babylon. We will get the Empire title of Babylon, but also we have gotten this as well, where we've gotten the Persian foothold decision. Now we need to completely control a de jure kingdom involved in the house divided struggle, Kingdom of Persia, Transaxonia, Macron, Kabulistan, Dailam. This, and so this will be maybe something we can go for. If we take a look, it is going to be kind of the closest one, I think, of the ones there was Dailam, other than kind of these over here. It's this big circle, and I don't think we own any territory in Dailam, but we're kind of close. But if we get, once we get the cooldown on this Holy War title, we're definitely declaring it on Mesopotamia for the reestablishment of Babylon. So we are continuing our discovery of these vampire books, detailing the history of the vampires with the coming of Lilith. It'll be a night to remember because we're infiltrating a little bit of the art of the steel, and we are going to be looking for it. Now, we have a very, very strong conspiracy now. The gentleman who we kind of showed earlier that had really, really high stewardship, we've recruited him into our conspiracy, which is going to be nice. I don't think that we have him appointed to any spots specifically, but we might just kick him around or keep him around the capital because we have so many good people. But now he's going to help a lot because he's going to be doing the stewardship channel challenges for us, so this is going to make it much easier for us to pass stuff. We, of course, have 100 prowess, so generally speaking, we're going to be taking on the prowess challenges on these infiltrations, but we need to, in particular, I believe we need to find, wow, we have minus suspicion, we're anti-suspicious. I think we need to find a key. I wasn't paying close enough attention. This is the key to the vault. We can now unlock the vault, which is perfect. This is a prestige challenge. Helen of Troy will take care of that. And we know that the vault is going to be over here, so why don't we come this way? And there's the vault. A priceless treasure, etc., etc. We will continue our way out here. Easy peasy, and that's the steel. And we have now gotten the coming of Lilith, so now we can come in here and pick the decision, the Book of Nod, which is the overall collection of all the books from the vampire. You see here, we will have the coming of Lilith now in here, and so we will consider the Book of Nod. We'll go for the Chronicle of Cain, the first vampire, the OG himself, and we will look for the coming of Lilith, and we will have ourselves a nice little history lesson in the history of the vampires. I was alone in the darkness, and I grew hungry. I was alone in the darkness, and I grew cold. I was alone in the darkness, and I cried. This is after he was rejected and cast out for the murdering of his brother Abel. Then there came to me a sweet voice, a honey voice, words of succor, words of surcease. I'm not sure how that's pronounced. A woman dark and lovely, with eyes that pierced the darkness, came to me. I know of your story, Cain of Nod, she said, smiling. You are hungry. Come, I have found food. You are cold. Come, I have found clothes. You are sad. Come, I have found comfort. Who will comfort one so cursed as I? Who would clothe me? Who would feed me? I am your father's first wife, who disagreed with the one above. I had gained freedom in the darkness. I am Lilith. Once I was cold, and there was no warmth for me. Once I was hungry, and there was no food for me. Once I was sad, and there was no comfort for me. She took me in, she fed me, she clothed me. In her arms I found comfort. I cried until blood trickled from my eyes, and she kissed them away. This is a characteristic of vampires throughout this lore, is that all of their bodily fluids have been replaced by blood. And then we have Lilith's magic as kind of the next passage. You do not own a pot... Oh... We need to find a copy of Lilith's magic then in order to learn how she taught Cain, the first vampire, everything that he knew. So let's close the Book of Nod here. But if we take a look, every vampire can trace their entire lineage, because that's not a vampire, we can show it, all the way back to Cain. So if we go parents, 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 this is Cain, the Dark Father. And there is, of course, a giant journal entry for him. The first murderer, the Dark Tyrant. He's a legendary figure with a few facts to really back his many famous or infamous exploits. What's commonly accepted is that he's the firstborn son of Adam and Eve, with the older brother Abel and Seth. He was cursed with his vampirism by God, and his angels are as punishment for murdering Abel and lying about it to God. Cain is also known as the lover of Lilith. So this is part of the passage we just read, from which he learned to harness the power, the blood flowers, now known as disciplines, which there are, the trees that you can engage in if you are playing a vampire, but we're not playing a vampire, we're playing a demon. And then his story continues on to the fabled city of Enoch. We haven't gotten there, where is embraced the second generation of vampires, who then embraced the third, and all was good for some, until the biblical deluge. It destroyed the first city, Enoch, and all of the children of Seth. Cain was so despondent that he disappeared. His surviving childer and grandchilder sought him out, and when they found him, Cain told them to go away. Left to fend for themselves, these antediluvians ended up killing Cain's second generation childer. When Cain discovered what happened, he sought out the antediluvians, who rebuilt a new city known as the Second City. Unbeknownst to them, the Dark Father cursed his descendants with the characteristic weakness of each clan. Since then, Cain was never seen again, passing on the realm of legends. And so every single clan does have a weakness, but these are the books, the story of Cain, that we are going to be trying to seek, and so we will try and get the next one, which is going to be the Magic of Lilith, so that when we consider the Book of Nod next, we will have Lilith's magic from one of the two copies that exists in the world. So we'll have to steal that too. Alright, I don't even know why this wasn't available for us before, because it did not consider us controlling all of Sicily. I guess maybe our subject has now overthrown. No, our subject's not overthrown the person who controls Syracuse, but we now have the decision to secure the Mediterranean. For whatever reason, we couldn't activate it before, because the game didn't think we controlled Sicily when we did. But okay, this will unlock the Mediterranean conquest, Casus Belli, allow you to conquer any county along the shores of the Mediterranean for the duration. We already have a war CB, so this is not important, but it will establish the Kingdom of Beleo Tyria with these for the Duchy of Mallorca, Sardinia, Corsica, and Sicily, which will be nice. It'll give us some renown. We will get this modifier, Masters of the Mediterranean, giving nice development growth, and so we will say Mare Nostrum. It is in fact ours. Nobody can oppose us. We are taking Marloca, Sardinia, and we've declared ourselves the righteous rulers of the Mediterranean. So now we will have this kingdom title, which is pretty nice here. I think that we could dole it out, and the question is would we want to dole it out to Menelaia, or would we want to dole it out to Helen of Troy? Probably Helen of Troy, which would mean giving up this guy and this guy as our subjects. This guy in particular does have some pretty nice stats. He is serving as our Hectaria currently. Maybe we want to keep the knights, but if we do this, this would allow Helena to maybe go after some people. She's very powerful. Has like no martial, just like so bad, but okay. But I think that the landlocked or the island people are much less likely to try and go for invasions than someone who has an adjacency. You can see the guy with the Duchy of Romanga keeps pushing up into Italy, and so maybe we don't want to establish or pass off this empire like we have with the Kingdom of Africa to Hannibal here. Although maybe it's on theme, I don't know. We'll consider it, but we are now masters of the Mediterranean. It is time. The 50-year cooldown finally ended on our holy war for kingdom. This should be a pretty straightforward war against King Mahmud ibn Khalid, the prodigal heir of Mesopotamia. Prodigal, We will be taking him out. We have not only double the soldiers, we even have a higher quality than him. So this will be a pretty straightforward war. Not seeing much chance for him to be able to stop us. And we will be taking Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization, the birthplace of kind of the vampiric tradition. We will be taking this. And also, I think the demonic tradition, as far as the lore goes, everything kind of goes back to the cradle of civilization here in the first city. Baghdad is on the verge of collapsing. We've defeated all the armies in the vicinity. We only raised our men-at-arms, which, to be fair, are the only good ones. And the men-at-arms' main role is actually not even... The brunt of the damage is being done by our massive army of, at this point, kind of army of Hectare. We have 37 knights, and these guys, or 37 plus the 4 acclaimed knights, Gilgamesh, Unre, Persephone, and Isfahan. This has given us a nice little push here. They've been kind of throwing as much as they can at us, but they have been unable to do or manage much of anything. And so there we have that, and then we will just need a little bit more stuff to be taken in order to enforce on these guys, but it is coming soon. Now, I forget which county we will be, it might be Kufa. I think we will be re-establishing Babylon here in Kufa. This is the main city that needs to be had or controlled, at least by us, in order to do the journal entry. And by journal entry, I mean decision, because we're playing CK and not Victoria 3. So we take for ourselves Mesopotamia, enforcing both the main war and the slight little secondary war that we picked up, and now we can do the Restore Babylon decision. It was an age of savage empires and holy wars, of heroes blessed or cursed, you know, heroes like Gilgamesh, who we have with us, or cursed by the living gods and unspeakable rituals performed before idols of gold, basalt, and jade. When the earthbound clashed, the armies of the faithful marched, the earth trembled, and the skies rained blood, and whole cities were put to the sword. It was Babylon, and it was hell on earth. Okay, so this is actually, this might be referring to the war between the gods. Allows you to vassalize demon and infernalist rulers. You know, people like our dear Pride over here, or our Pride affiliated former wife, former spouse, who was associated with the faith of Pride. She is the demon, who, if you wanted to play the Pride route, would make a lot of sense. But maybe we just vassalize her straight up. We get Babylon, which is an empire title. We get 3,000 renown, which is a big chunk. And the building of Kufa, or the area of Kufa, gets the Hanging Gardens. So we will say glorious times, simply glorious. In ancient kingdoms such as Babylon and Sumeria, each demon's full circle of worshippers, this is Ares back in high school, you know what I mean, grew into a cult and then a full-fledged religion with temples and idols carved into the spirit's likeness, appearing in cities, villages, and households across the land. As the trickle of faith swelled to a steady stream, this is the source of powers for the demons, is the faith of humanity. Then a surging river, the earthbound used their lore to sate their rage and punish the unbelievers with curses, plagues, and famine. In no time since creation did the fallen angels ever rule so openly over the weak humanity. The fall of these civilizations and the rise of monotheism weakened the demons considerably, forcing many to go back into slumber or be banished to the abyss, aka after high school. Claiming the mantle of these inglorious times, it sends a very strong message to your brothers and sisters in sin. And so this will be good. This is our new primary title. I think we should take a look at the Hanging Gardens in Kufa. I think they are in Kufa. Where's Kufa? So here we have the Hanging Gardens, which gives us a tax. This will probably be the one state that we keep here. Unfortunately, we only have a domain limit of 5, but I think that we're pretty close to our next, enough stewardship to get up to 6, so maybe we try and float it. But this is giving us prestige, attraction, opinion, personal scheme power plus 100, max personal schemes. This is going to allow us to corrupt way more guys, and personal scheme chance. Yeah, so this is about the demonic corruption. This is what we've been doing basically the whole game with our things. We are just tempting people, trying to convince them to join the dark side because we have free cookies, and if they join the dark side, then suddenly they go, generally speaking, from minus 100 to plus 100. But it said it allows us to vassalize, so we could do something like offer vassalage on her, and she would be more than willing to accept. I'm not sure if we want to have her as kind of a queen in our area. Maybe it's on theme. I assume after we got her to do this, it would be easy enough to get her to convert. But let's see the Empire level title that we have here. Okay, well, it just renames us as Babylon, so it just switches it over to Babylon, but we have now become Babylon. So we have a few more decisions associated, you know, like Corrupt the World. To be fair, Corrupt the World, I think, is a little bit easier. We just actually have to convert stuff, which we've started converting stuff a little bit more aggressively, but all from our house would get plus 10 prowess, plus 3 martial per stress level, natural dread plus 20, attacker advantage plus 20. That is a vibe. That is pretty strong. And then Primordial Sin Dragon is where we, I think, will want to be working towards, you know, kind of in the long-ish term, where we have, you know, some areas we need to go after: the Isle of Man, Lombardia, Breslau, all of these various places. So we will probably be working our way over to these one at a time, kind of as our next major objective, and then see if there's anything else to be had. But for now, we've raised a little bit of hell on earth, and we will be using the city of Kufa, I think, pretty aggressively. We'll have to find worthy people to give these, you know, duchy titles and such out to, though. With that renown, we will unlock the final Namura Dynasty legacy that is kind of the unique one for demons, which will give everyone who is a member of our religion, with the exception of ourselves, plus 5 martial. And so, you know, if we go to the find character, you know, interaction now, and we take a look, we are giving plus 5 in every single one of the skills or attributes. And so if we just look at, or let's just sort by everyone who's inside diplomat, or actually let's just sort by all, and then just take a look at all, and we could take a look. A lot of these people will be our subjects, you know, kind of in the top rungs. Well, maybe not on Diplo, but surely on Marshall now. Oh, okay, well, we are maybe getting a couple. Actually, they're not even there. Maybe we're not as hot as we think we are. Jeez, the truth hurts. But, additionally, we also did give our invitation to the dear Queen of Anatolia, who has now become our subject. This boosts all of her stats quite nicely, because she should be getting... Oh, is she not getting that somehow? She is Wrath, and she also is... And she also is occultist. I don't know why she's not getting the plus 5. Are demons ineligible for the plus 5? Perhaps they are, but we will be on the lookout for any other demons that we can try and vassalize. I'm not sure how many we will be able to do. I'm not sure. I don't think a lot of them are rulers. You can see that I think there's Lust was up here. If we look by religion, it will be a little bit easier for us to tell if we sort by faith. So you can see Lust is up here. This is one of the sins. And so if we kind of came in and got out of this map mode and, you know, asked them, they're too far to interact with, which is unfortunate. We could discover their celestial name to push them around. But if we take a look at faiths again, I'm not sure. I think most of the demons have gotten wiped out. We don't see... I think that there was a demon over here. We don't see them anymore. I don't see any of the 7 deadly sins over here either. So this is perhaps a bit unfortunate. It's really just Wrath taking over the whole shaboodle. Also quite nice is that we got 2 holy sites in that war. We got intimidated vassal tax contribution. They're all intimidated and they're all terrified. So that's why we're making the big bucks now, even though we are way over our domain limit, which will kind of float for a while. We also got development growth, cultural fascination progress, and just to remind, from the other ones we get cultural fascination progress there. Here we get a little bit of stewardship and development growth, so a total of plus 25 dev growth, and a little bit of natural dread in Tunis, and so really starting to look pretty good here. I'm not seeing any other, 7 deadly sins, which is going to be... Ooh, we do see Envy. They're going to be outside of our Diplo range, though. We are working on expanding our Diplo range, actually, but by trying to acquire an item for it. But from Dear Julius, who is our Hectere, the thing is what we need to do is we need to compel him to give us an artifact. and in order to do this, we need more Arcana lifestyle points. But the Masker's Eyes, which we are kind of waiting for, will give us 15% Diplo range. It's not a lot, but it is a little bit. I mean, perhaps we could move our capital over here, which is just kind of in the center of the map, but the fact that we can't interact with Lust up here is a little bit annoying. Maybe we just try and conquer our way out. If we can go for the Isle of Man, for example, which we need to pick up anyways, maybe this will be good for us in that it will... No, I think the Diplo range doesn't radiate out from your territories, it radiates out from your capital. So if we want it in Constantinople, we'll need some more range to try and subjugate others. So one of our inspirations comes through. It's a magnificent book about books. It's Bookception, if you will. The book about books. It's going to give us +1 learning, monthly learning lifestyle experience, which is not going to be too great, but the learning skill is kind of nice. I think that's a throne room item and not a... Yeah, it is a throne room item, and so we will have to choose between this and the other books we have. Where are our other books? Acquisition date? The book about books. So, do we not have a book already displayed? Surely, I thought we had our books displayed. Well, that's no good. What books do we have supplied? Oh, okay, we have this about politics, and maybe we put in the wrong book. I know we have some better... We have a book that's particularly, like, a lot better than either one of these books that is going to give us quite a bit more juice. So let's actually equip that book. So let's find this. Can we sort by type? No. Okay. I think it's one of the earlier ones that we had gotten. We've had it for some time. It just gives us +1 in all the stats. And so we'll put it here. And I think that will be one of the better books, even though this is a magnificent book about books. This Mycenaean court politics, I think, might have been what we were using before. Which, to be fair, the diplomacy is maybe better for us, to be honest. Than the learning lifestyle experience. We'd rather have the diplomacy than the learning. We have a kind of lower learning score, so maybe it's not as good. But this book is the extremely strong one, which is inherited along with our thing, the Book of the Stars. At the height of Babylon's power, a cabal of sorcerer astrologists, so this is referring to previous times in Babylon, which we've now renewed, discovered a way to see the hidden stars, and in doing so vastly increased their power and lifespan. They divided the work into 7 tablets that were later ransacked by the king Cyrus of Persia. A scholar managed to transcript the tablets into a book before destroying them and fleeing Persia. The thrall then goes on to Constantinople and finally Tunis, where some suspect the book still resides. So this is the creator of the book, and so this is pretty nice, but I think well, why don't we just keep the legendary one in because it's legendary or illustrious. It's a higher rarity tier, and so we'll just stick with that. It's nice that we had created it, but now the woman who just created the book, I think that we will probably give her a nice big chunk of Babylon so that she can have her own duchy. We already gave a little bit to Tabitha, who is quite strong. I think that we will try and have strong dukes in this area and then not dole out the kingship. That way we have a bunch of strong subjects. Although her prowess isn't the best, overall the other stats do be looking pretty good. Also, look what house she's from. House Bizarre. So that's the Constantinople guy. He notably has a bunch of people inside of his domain, vassals and courtiers that are particularly very, very, very good. Maybe not that guy, but his children are kind of, a lot of them are hanging out, and his grandchildren, and a lot of them are pretty solid and or good. I had no idea so many people were non-believers, but we will demand mass conversions in our realm, including Jeff Mila, who we recently gave some territory to. Everyone's going to be converting to Wrath. I think we might found a new religion of the 7 deadly sins, but for now we'll stick in on Wrath. She has now a nice little spot in Basara, so she can make her duchy for herself, and we still need to dole out quite a bit of land here. I don't think this is going to finish this episode because we want to try and keep it, in the hands of people who are capable. I think it's time we start a legend for ourselves. So we have 3 legend seeds to choose from. This is going to get real expensive, but I think that it's on theme for us to do this. I'm kind of inclined to do this one because for the development growth, you know, to really kind of have a strong foundation radiating outward from our own baronies, giving us 6% growth. This would also give us renown, although it's a little bit late in the party for getting a ton of renown. Maybe we should have done this one forever ago. We probably should have. This one's piety and control, not that great. Here's station men-at-arms damage. That seems kind of okay, and a bunch of prestige, but I think we're going to go with this one. With that in mind, we will create this 50% chance of getting access to a legendary hunting lodge and the option to clear ground for a legendary building decision. Holding taxes, that'll be kind of nice. I think that we will put this down on our place. Gains access to the legendary palace in the clear grounds. Okay, this seems cool, and we will gain a whole bunch of legitimacy. So we will create this title, but also we are going to look to increase the quality as much as we can. We need more gold, but I think we're just going to go for the max Infernal Archduke thing. We haven't really interacted with legends too much before in terms of the mechanics. The legend of the Infernal Archduke Ares of Babylon is as great and large as the world, for his deeds are unparalleled. Truly, we've restored the kingdom of Babylon. Upon hearing the vague rumor that plagued the land, Ares set his heart to accomplish the difficult endeavor. Ares' legend culminates in a marvelous adventure. His great deeds of arms were such, talking big arms, talking about gun show, were such that all kings had wonder, and thereof and many nobles and commoners came to his encounter, for they wished to see legend in the flesh. However, that was not the end of the tale, for when Ares made his way home, he helped those in danger and avenged their affronts. Bandits, beasts, and evildoers could not hide from the fury of his blade. Okay. This stuff also gets more and more expensive as we get richer and richer, and it always seems just kind of a little bit too expensive. We will also appoint our court poet to also be our court chronicler, you know, in light of what's going on, which will help our prestige here. And we could do some stuff. We could do search for legends, extol domestic legend, which will increase our legend spread chance. That's a lot of cost a month, though, huh? Commend legends abroad. We'll actively commend legends abroad. Every year, one of your vassals or neighboring rulers may make your legend their promoted legend. Higher levels of aptitude increase the chances of this occurring. Regular activities? See, this one's really expensive. This year, we don't need more legend seeds, so let's just commend our legend abroad, which will cost a little bit of money, but now we're really hemorrhaging money, so hopefully we could get this thing spread. We could get the spread nice and far and wide, and it looks like it's radiating outward from Byzantium, which is perfect because that is the center of civilization, mainly because we are there. But with that said, I think we're going to conclude this episode. This episode, we refounded Babylon, the ancient city, and we did a little bit of, you know, wheeling and dealing and finding books and reading books. That was part of, you know, kind of the vampire lore. We're probably going to get a little bit more of that next episode, but I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do the YouTube algorithm thing, and other than that, have a good one.